On this week's show, the Georgia Southern men and women both in the midst of winning streaks. We'll take you out to Hanner for a few games. All that and more as we welcome you inside the Eagles Nest. And welcome inside the Eagles Nest. I'm your host, Josh Aubrey, being joined by sports editor and Georgia Southern beat writer for the Statesboro Herald, Mike Anthony. And Mike, we've got baseball coming up, basketball's in full swing, getting wrapped up, I guess, at this point, starting to kind of jockey for positions. Georgia Southern was coming off a 2-game losing streak on the road, bounced back nicely at home, and the ladies have now won 4 out of their last 5 as well.
Yeah, Georgia Southern's women's team really the big story here, making up a lot of ground. You remember they dropped those 3 tough ones early in the season, their first 3 conference games, and talking to Coach Kip Drown after that rough start, he said that they were really disappointed in it. They were a few games that they wouldn't have won over the last couple of years, but he really felt like they should have won a couple of those games. Now they're starting to play like a team who can beat most of the teams in the Sun Belt. They've hung with some of the top teams, and now they're starting to beat the teams that are at the bottom of the standings, in the middle of the standings. That's what you have to do in order to keep on improving. And we were talking earlier this season about how it's not so much about making the tournament because all 12 teams are in there now, but now Georgia Southern can start looking at where they're seated, who they might be playing. They're creeping up a little bit. If they keep this up, they're going to have themselves a pretty nice seed and a better matchup.
As for the guys, Saturday, they took care of business against Monroe, kind of ho-hum. They had pretty much the lead throughout. We always worry about that Monday game after that, maybe losing your legs a little bit, maybe not hitting your shots as much. Tukey Brown, 3 of 17, I believe, from the field. But you had guys like Mike Hughes, who was named the Sun Belt Player of the Week. Step up. Mike Hughes has been the big guy in tight games. He's made the shots. He did it once again this past week and helped pull out a big victory over Lafayette.
Yeah, no seniors on this team, but Mike Hughes is the equivalent of that. He's been starting for this team for 3 years now. He's been asked to make big shots. He's been asked to maybe not take some shots and instead play some defense. He did both of those things late in the game when the Eagles needed him most. A couple of big threes in the final minutes, and then even after losing a ball in a tight game in the last couple of minutes, he comes right back, gets a steal, gets a layup, draws the foul, makes the free throw, all those things that veteran leaders do. He's there for this team. I think they know it, even if he's not putting up 18 and 19 points a night. He put up 22 on Monday in a game that they really needed. The Eagles now continue to be in a dogfight atop the conference, a 3-way tie for first place. And for the Eagles, they can start thinking about one of those top 4 seeds, which will get them a bye into the quarterfinals of the conference tournament.
Yeah, big deal to be in the top 4 because you don't have to play that extra game. Hopefully the Eagles can do that. They have a couple of big series and some tough ones coming up. But let's take a look at Monroe and this past week against Lafayette. Georgia Southern hosting Monroe, breast cancer awareness and a pink out at Hanner, and a tight one in the third quarter. Inside, Patrice Butler, 2 of her 12 points. The Warhawks answer on the other end, Alexis Collins, 2 of her 16. But the Eagles then go on a 14-0 run. Alexis Sams with 3. Next, Angel McGowan with the nice up and under move with 2 of her 17 points. Alexis Brown then heats up. First, the corner 3. Next, from about the same spot, the 3 and a foul. Inside would give the Eagles the ball, and again, it's Tukey Brown's little sister burying the 3. She'd have a game-high 22 points. Later, it's Sierra Butler coming through with 2 of her 9 hitting inside here. And finally, McGowan coming through with the hoop and the foul as the Eagles win 76-65. The pink out continues on the guys' side, and a good crowd on hand. Tukey Brown to Coy Simmons inside. Next, Mike Hughes driving, and he somehow gets this one to fall. Monroe keeping it close in the early parts of the game. Marcus Washington, 2 of his 15, but the Eagles go on a run. Ike Smith for 3. Tukey Brown then burying the three-pointer himself. The Eagles on a 7-0 run. Coy Simmons then fighting his way inside for the bucket. Devontae Boykin chipping in, and here he steps up and hits from just inside the arc. More from Boykins as he knifes his way inside to give the Eagles an 8-point lead. More from Mike Smith, the lefty shot off the glass. Mike Hughes would add the three-pointer to make it a 16-point Georgia Southern lead. More from long range, Ike Smith, 3 more. The Eagles with 13 three-pointers. Tukey then steps back for 3. He'd have 15 points, and the Eagles with a 17-point halftime lead. Second half, more from long distance. Hughes, 3 more of his 17 points. Next, Ike from the corner. He hits it. Jake Alsmiller getting in on the fun as he'll stop and pop from about the same spot. And finally, Ike, 3 more of his game-high 22, and the Eagles win 76-62. The Georgia Southern Eagles looking to remain on top in the Sun Belt standings, hosting Louisiana Lafayette. First half, Ike Smith driving for 2. Next, Ike from NBA range up top for 3. A nice game for Mike Hughes. Here he hits the 3. The Eagles with a 7-point lead. Back to Ike Smith we go. Off the inbounds, 2 more of his 18 points, but the Raging Cajuns fight back. Justin Miller, 2 of his 18. Smith answers, 3, 2, 1. Smith answers on the other end, the hoop and the foul. Next, it's Hughes penetrating for 2 of his game-high 20. Hughes then finds a wide-open B.J. Gladden for 3. Tukey Brown with a quiet night, only 3 of 17 from the field, but he hits the 3 here. Lafayette with the run just before the half. Jonathan Stove heats up. We go to the half with the Eagles up by only 2. Second half, and bombs away for Jake Alsmiller. The Eagles with 11 threes in the game. Hughes later from the near side, but Miller able to hit on the other end. The 3-point play, Lafayette up by 4. Again, it's Hughes leading the comeback. Another 3-pointer. Monte Glenn next will hit the tough shot in the lane. Then off the inbounds, Ike Smith able to hit and draw the foul. Tukey Brown will chip in with this one from just inside the arc. Hughes will add the 3 from the corner. Georgia Southern up 2 with 2 minutes to go in the game. And then, with time winding down, Hughes loses the ball but comes up with the steal, the bucket, and the foul. And the Eagles go on for the win, 74-70.
Listen up, truck buyers. It's Truck Month at Franklin Chevrolet, the GM giant in Statesboro. We're loaded up on tough trucks, and we're doing whatever it takes to earn your business. Silverados to Sierras, Colorados to Canyons. We've got the inventory, you get the savings. At Franklin Chevrolet, save $10,000 off MSRP on new Silverado 1500 crew cabs. Even save $10,000 off new Sierra 1500 crew cabs. Shop big, save big, drive big. Find it at Franklin Chevrolet, the GM giant in Statesboro, and franklinchevrolet.com.
All right, so next up, the women play App on Thursday, the guys play App on Monday, and then there's a doubleheader at Coastal on Saturday. Well, moving on, the Georgia Southern baseball team gearing up for their season. And Mike, it looks like all the pieces are in place. It's eerily similar to what football looked like coming into the year. Hopefully things don't go the way they did for the football team, but you return so many starters. You return all 3 of your weekend, pitchers. You've got guys in the bullpen that have done well. You've got starters in the position players, all but I think 2 returning. Everything looks in place. If there ever was a chance for the Eagles to win or at least get a berth in the Sun Belt, because I believe a berth in the NCAA rather, because I believe the Sun Belt is a league that's probably going to have multiple bids, maybe as many as 3, maybe 4, who knows?
Yeah, I think that the Sun Belt's almost guaranteed multiple bids if everything pans out as is expected during the preseason at least. You've got the defending national champions in there from Coastal Carolina, the newest member of the Sun Belt. You've got Louisiana Lafayette, who was ranked number 1 in the nation 2 years ago. They're a year in, year out regional team. You've got Georgia Southern, who was a couple of innings away from beating the Raging Cajuns last year. And as you mentioned, just a lot of guns coming back with the bats in the field and most importantly on the mound. It's been about a half dozen years now since college baseball switched over to those BB core bats, and if you've never hit with them, it really does make a difference. It's like hitting with a wood bat. You've seen the scores go down. You've seen the ball stay inside the park, and when that happens, the emphasis goes on pitching and defense. A couple of years ago, a lot of errors in the field for the Eagles. They shored that up last year. They look to be even better this year as so many experienced guys are coming back. And then when you look on the pitching mound, returning all of those weekend starters, getting a transfer who's supposed to be able to come in, do some big things, either starting or out of the bullpen, and then it's set up kind of like these major league rosters where you've got 3 guys with power fastballs, power sliders, 7th, 8th, 9th inning. It shortens the game. I don't know exactly how Coach Rodney Hennon's setting up the pitching staff, but it certainly looks like he's going to have a lot of options.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of guys like Hughes and them that came in and maybe even pitched 5 innings in relief a lot of times last year, and that's not something you necessarily see in the major leagues as much. It's very rare that happens. So, and then the position players, and you mentioned the bats. Ryan Cleveland has been one of the exceptions to the rule, as he's tended to have.
The Blue Monster won't be stopping Ryan Cleveland anytime soon.
That's right. You got the new ballpark to look forward to. And Eagles get things underway not this weekend, but next, as they will be hosting MTSU. Well, that'll wrap things up for now. For Mike Anthony, I'm Josh Aubrey. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you again next week.